Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 136. And man, it's been an interesting week. A lot of shit has happened. A lot of it good, and a lot of it really, really fucking bad. Anyway, we're gonna get to that, right? So, yesterday I had my first refeed of my prep, and I don't know why I always do this. I always end up buying more shit than I can actually eat, right? I had about almost 700 grams of carbs yesterday in a 6 hour window. So let me explain what a refeed is. A refeed is where you're in a calorie deficit, or not necessarily a calorie deficit, but um, you're restrictive of carbs. So what a refeed does, within those 6 hours, you push as many carbohydrates and sugars as you can. Only problem with that is like when you overdo it, it can get real bad. You become lethargic. You become, you become sleepy and everything because it's like your body's just not used to digesting that many carbohydrates and sugars in one sitting. I had what did I have yesterday? I had like 1,700 calories of pancakes, um, mixed it with some chocolates, with some fruits and everything. By the way, I love fruits. I had a whole big ass bag of blueberries yesterday, and I probably should have had more, but fuck it, whatever, right? Then I bought some candy. I bought some jumbo red vine twists I couldn't get to. I had about like three pints of ice cream. I got to two of them. I didn't get to the third one. I had a couple of Gatorades. And then I had a box of cereal. I didn't get to that. Because I just simply just was out of it. It like I wanted to continue eating, but my body was like, "Yo, we can't sustain this," and it just was way too much. It got to the point where I felt so uncomfortable. I couldn't even, I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit up, and it was just all bad. But that's a part of the game, man. So after those 6 hours are up, you know, you go back to your regular diet. So I started yesterday about 3 o'clock. So 6 hours, about quarter to three o'clock. So by the time 8 o'clock came, I was done. It was like I was trying to force feed myself and I couldn't do it. A lot of people will look at me and they be like, "What are you doing that for?" It's like, but there's a scientific reason behind it. Your body has something called glycogen and everything too, and glycogen is just stored energy, and so you get that from food, sweets, whatever it is. The only problem is when you overdo it with sweets and everything, or just carbohydrates in general. You have a tendency to become extremely, extremely, lethargic. And it was up until the point where my brother and me is watching TV, and I'm sitting there like, man, oh, just out of it. And he was like, "Yo, you okay?" He was like, "No, I'm not," because I was going through it. And because I log everything anyway. And I think yesterday when I got done logging everything, um, I had about like 4,000 calories in me or something like that. And all of it was just sugar, candy, and fucking carbs. So it was all bad. And funny thing is, I woke up this morning, and I only gained about like a pound or two. So which, it's not the best, but I can tell I can tell it was working because when I lean out, my vascularity is just through the roof. My shit looks like a fucking map quest, and my body was so leaned, or my body was so busy soaking up the sugars and everything too that my veins were popping through my skin. It was crazy. I should have took photos of it though. But whenever I get this lean, particularly for a show, my body just reacts so differently to food, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Um, I actually been working on some music. I bought some new plugins, and I just been working with that. I just been trying to grind away, man. I know the Life album is way overdue, and believe me, I'm getting that to you guys. Life is lifing right now, and I got so much shit going on in my life. Other than that, everything else is good. Still single. Not trying to change that. That's another thing too. When I'm preparing for a bodybuilding show, I am not the guy to be around. I'm not the guy that you want to come talk to you about your problems, because I'll look at you like this, like. And even yesterday too, I was in the gym, and every Saturday I do a faster workout. It doesn't matter if I'm on prep or off prep, it doesn't matter. I just do it because it just helps my body. I find that it helps my body, so I do it. And but my thing with me is, like, the closer I get to a show, I don't talk to people. Uh, I don't have the energy to talk to people. And it's nothing against them. I just don't want to talk. I don't. I don't want to say what's up to you. I don't want to wave to you. Whatever it is. It's like that's how bad it gets. And it's not me per se. It's just like I don't have. I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to interact with people. And I was talking to this one former professional bodybuilder. I've known him for fucking probably over a decade. And so I was texting him, and he's asking me, "Hey man, you still training hard, hitting the iron and everything?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still doing it." I said, "Hey, like I'm doing a show. This was the other day, so this is what's today, Sunday." And so I texted him on Wednesday. I was 5.5 weeks out, and so I said, "Yeah, man, I'm about 5 weeks out from my show, and I'm trying to limit as much human interaction as possible. Some days it's harder than normal, but when I'm at work, I gotta talk to people because it's part of my job, right? That I have no problem doing that, because I know what's expected. I'm not gonna trip on that." And so he told me, like, "Yeah, man, the last month or so, that's where you gonna get really tested, And but he's like, we know this, he's like, you've been doing shows for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and so like this is nothing for you, which it isn't, because it's not, it's really not. It's not something that I have difficulty, controlling, because in the very beginning, my very first show, yeah, I couldn't be in a room with people. It got to a point where I couldn't eat my food in the same room with people. I couldn't, hold conversations with people because it just wasn't worth it. And yeah. But as the years progress, you get better, and it's expected of you. So at the same time, I'm never gonna trip on people, or I'm never gonna act a certain way or around people unless it's in the gym. Funny story. So I had this one. I call every girl in the gym a gym shorty, and it's nothing against them. I just how I am. So I had this gym shorty yesterday come up to me, and we got this table, right, round table, and and I'm depleted. I'm starving. Only thing I had in me up until that point was a gallon of water and maybe a protein shake post workout, right? So I just wasn't feeling it. So I see somebody walk on the table, and then I see somebody tap the table, and then I'm still not paying attention, right? And then I see somebody do this, okay, so somebody trying to get my attention, and I'm like, I look up, and it was her. I look at her like this, like what's up? And then she's like, "Oh, well, I'll see you later." And my ass didn't even say nothing. I think all I did was this, like, I just, I'm just not that dude in the gym who's gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to do my sets, do my reps, do my cardio, do my posing, and get the fuck out. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And like that's the one thing I hate about competitive bodybuilding, man. Because competitive bodybuilding will make you antisocial as fuck. And it's really nothing you can do about it, you know, because you can't get away from the diet. You can't make changes to the protocols to your diet. You can't do anything else to it to manipulate it to make yourself feel good because when you're because what I think for me, I'm eating it's 5 days, 150 carbohydrates every 5 days. On the 6 days, 300, which is still not much, you know. And then I'm getting like 220 grams of carbohydrates. Protein a day. So I gotta break that down in between meals, you know. So everything's weighed out. Everything is portioned out, you know. And yeah, it's something, man, that it's like. And then my coworkers found out that I'm a competitive bodybuilder, so they're coming to the show, and they're like, yeah, I'm coming to the show. I'm going to support you. This and that. I told, okay, cool, whatever do you think? Um, and they was asking me what the show was and this and this and that. And so I'm telling them, I was like, where it is and everything. And they're like, okay, cool. I'm all like, we all, gonna come, come through. And I'm like, bet, all right, cool. But yeah, bodybuilding, man. Not only that, it's expensive. It's extremely expensive because you're eating the same thing every single day, every single week. You're running through protein powders, vitamins, and all this shit, right? I'm not complaining because, bodybuilding to me, I never lacked I never lacked discipline, but it gave me the discipline that I was looking for. It gave me, okay, like, because I'm the type of dude, like, okay, you give me A, I'm going to find out how to get to B, and so on and so on and so on. And I'm like, okay, A, the diet, steps to it, cardio, weight training, having everything timed and having everything done a certain way, this and this and that. The one thing I will never, ever do is go and get one of these fucking meal prep companies to meal prep my meals. No. No. Not happening, And people are like, yeah, but it saves so much time and energy. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because my thing is that if you can't set aside an hour or two on a Saturday or a Sunday to cook your food, the fuck are you doing? Like, you mean to tell me you that busy where you can't set aside that much time to, make sure that your food is properly, cooked and properly portioned and whatnot too. I've never understood that. Anyway, on the flip side, as you guys or as you guys know, the island of Maui, Lahaina, which is historic in many different ways, to switch gears, that whole town is gone. All that history, and when I say history, it was once the capital of Hawaii. The Kingdom of Hawaii was, Lahaina was the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii. And I've had family members. We've for the most part, everybody's okay. I'm not gonna get into details about what of what they've gone through because number one, it's none of the internet's business. But what really pisses me off, and this is where the local boy in me comes out, when the mayor of Maui and the governor of Hawaii says that Maui will be open for tourists. And again, this is just my opinion. I feel that the numbers that they're reporting for the death toll are incorrect. Because there have been multiple reports of people saying there was no warnings, There are no sirens being used because every state has a siren system where they, where, for tsunamis, natural disasters, whatever it is, right? So they have sirens and stuff like that were never used, even though they work properly. They were never used. Um, that death toll is wrong. That death toll is incorrect. They haven't gone through all the structures, all the vehicles, all the burned out vehicles, all the burned out structures, and they haven't found all the bodies yet. They have a list of people who are missing, and I guarantee you they will find those bodies in the rubble. I guarantee you that. And what's frustrating me is that these elected, keyword, elected officials they care more about tourism than helping the local people who live there. I understand this. Look, we live in a state where we depend on tourism and the military. I get all that. I understand all that. But when you're the mayor of an island and you say that the island will remain open for tourists, for tourism, and you have people coming down to Lahaina to give supplies, whether it's food, clothing, or picking up people and putting them taking them into their houses or putting them up in hotels, and you have tourists coming down from the airport, wearing puka shell necklaces, and again, this is all the shit I've heard, It's frustrating. It's frustrating because as a kid who's born and raised here, man, and anybody who's born and raised in Hawaii, we're taught one thing. We're taught to have compassion for people. We're taught to help out where you can. We're taught to help out where we're needed. And for elected officials to stand there and say during a press conference that the island of Maui will remain open for tourism when you had the greatest natural disaster happen in your state. And this isn't like 2 weeks ago. This isn't a month ago. 72 hours later, you're talking about, oh yeah, the island will remain open. They can't answer the questions truthfully. They won't answer the questions truthfully. They just step around these questions, and I'm like, yo, you fucking with people's lives. People have lost everything. Homes, businesses, loved ones, all that history, all the history of Lahaina gone. Church gone. Everything gone. And all you can talk about is tourism, man. What? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense, because the people of Maui, the island of Maui deserve better, man. They deserve better. I don't know the individual's name who was the mayor of Maui, but I do know one thing, man. Your job, keyword, elected, as an elected official, is to do what's best for the people who live in your state, not the people who vacation there, not the people. See, yeah, I gotta calm down because I'm getting mad. Not the people who vacation there, not the people who have vacation homes there, not the people who who come to Maui for a vacation. The people who live there, who pay taxes, who pay rent, who pay property tax, all of that stuff, right? Bro, if Oprah can come down and donate and give money, time, everything, what's up, dude? What do you get off saying, oh yeah, Maui will remain open for tourism? You might as well just say you don't care. And that's the frustrating part. Because they're proving to us time and time again that they don't care. You know, everybody who grew up here or who lives here knows how expensive it is to live here. I grew up here. High school, college, whole nine. Wouldn't change it. Love it. You know. Yeah, I had to deal with some racism, but it is what it is, right? Being biracial, growing up in Hawaii, um, being black, Asian, and Japanese, or Spanish, I should say. You're constantly battling, an identity crisis, right? um, but yeah, man, it's frustrating because people deserve better, bro. You're pulling bodies from houses, from businesses. These are kapunas. These are children who came home from school. And all you can talk about is tourism. Nah, bruh. Nah. Anybody who's ever had a chance to visit any of the islands, we all know how beautiful it is. Every island has its own piece of history. Every island has its own uniqueness to it. Um, Hawaii's a special place, man. Um, Hawaii is a place where if you're fortunate enough to visit here, let alone grow up here, you're exposed to so many different things, so many different cultures. And granted, it's like, are are there some people here who have different opinions and different views? 100%. But at the same time, it's like the one thing I love about my local people, and when I say my local people, I mean me too. Um, we're never gonna judge you off of who you are. How I was raised was that we're gonna be respectful up until we can't, up until you know, we feel that that if you feel the respect is not being reciprocated, then yeah, I mean, granted, are there some bad apples in here? 100%. But that's anywhere, man. It's like you're gonna run into racism, discrimination. It doesn't matter where you at. But for the most part, man, people here, we're not gonna discriminate against you. We're not gonna make you feel alienated or whatever it is. Are there some people out here who will do that? 100%. But that's not everybody, man. I think what makes a lot of people mad about the situation is that, again, it's it's it comes down to money, and that's the frustrating part, is that you're dealing with a situation and all you care about is the bottom line. You don't care about the people who've lost their homes, and I've heard about people having to reapply, for loans and everything too. So even if you have insurance, you know, the insurance is making it difficult to pay out, which is which is nothing new. Um, Insurance is something that they say that you need it, but when you actually need it, you can't get to use it. So what's new about that? Um, mm, yeah, man. That's another thing too. Thoughts and prayers are cool, But they're not gonna fix the fact that people are dead. You know, it's not gonna change the fact that you have tourists coming in daily while they're still doing the rescue. You know, the search and rescue, while they're still digging through rubble to find bodies, and all you can talk about is, oh, the island will remain open. That's not the move, bro. Never was the move. Anyway, man, I'm gonna end this on a somber note. Well, not a somber note, but a positive note. I think it's important to count your blessings. I think it's important to realize that how lucky we are, you know, because bad shit happens all over the world. Hug your loved ones tight. Tell them you love them, and never take a day for granted because you never know when your last day is gonna be that. All right, y'all. Hope y'all keep it in the full peace, private player, positive pushing. I will see y'all next week. Love y'all. Ghost.